I'm here to introduce Mohamad Foustok from Blue Maestro, who's going to do the first of our 10-minute pitches. And this is all about some very interesting connected healthcare products. Take it away.
Hi, I want to talk about Blue Maestro. The company started up right at the end of 2013, launching our first product, Tempo. Tempo is an environmental sensor that not only measures temperature, humidity, and barometric pressure, but actually records it for up to 30 days so that you can actually leave it in a space, return later on, collect the data, analyze it, and then do something with it. So this was our launching product. Tempo then evolved. We are now working on more miniaturized versions. So this is actually Tempo Tag, which will be available in March of this year. Takes much of the same functionality that Tempo had, humidity, temperature, barometric pressure. We added light and movement. The idea of this sensor is this is something that can be actually portable. It's designed to fit, use cases include people like hikers, for instance, go up into the mountains. This would actually record, again, it records and stores the temperature information so that you can then use it later on. Both devices also give you instantaneous temperature, barometric pressure, and humidity so that you can actually get that for your cell phone directly. The third sensor we have, which is this little one, Tempo Disc, is also going to be available in March. This is a pure temperature sensor and logger. Again, records 30 days of temperature data. This is completely waterproof. It'll actually be able to be dropped in a pool or any other liquid if you want, and it just records the temperature and then relays it again to a smartphone and you can collect it. Finally, the last stage of evolution of the sensor technology is to actually allow these to then not only connect with your smartphone, which is fine if you're in local proximity, but what if you want to actually monitor a space when you're not there? Tempo Hub is a product that we have just finalized now, recently, and will be available in February. This actually allows Tempo devices to all interconnect through the hub, which utilizes Wi-Fi, back to a back-end cloud server. It's all done automatically. The hub is able to not only collect the data from all of the sensors, but can actually perform all the management functions. It can actually upgrade the firmware inside of the sensors. It can track battery levels in the sensors and report it. So you have a centralized way of managing all of your sensor network through actually just a browser through our cloud server. The final product I want to introduce is from our healthcare side. This is actually the world's first wireless pacifier. So if anyone has a baby, is try to take the temperature of a baby, especially when they're not feeling too well, typically children of 6 months to 2 years of age, it's not easy to get a thermometer and keep it inside the baby's mouth. So we had this idea of why not put the thermometer into a pacifier, and then so this gives convenience to the child. The child can comfortably suck on the pacifier while we're measuring the temperature. But also from a convenience perspective for the parent can actually put the child to bed with sucking on the pacifier, and then can remotely trigger the pacifier to take temperature readings when they're outside of the room. So they don't actually have to wake the child up. To add utility, we also included a tether capability. So when the baby has the pacifier with them, the pacifier is tethered to the phone. If it goes out of range of the phone, an alert goes off on the phone itself. And finally, since we know that children will typically drop their pacifiers, we included a capability to track the pacifier itself. So the phone keeps track of where the pacifier is using the phone's GPS, and will actually plot that for you on a map. So if you lose the pacifier, you look on your phone, it'll show you with a pin drop on a map where it was. You get close to it, there's a range finder. You can actually trigger it to start beeping so that you can actually go pick it up. So this is a complete solution to monitor the health of a baby. It's used with a smartphone app that we provide that allows you to archive all of the data, as well as record medication that you provide to the baby, so you actually get a consolidated view of temperature measurements and medication at the same time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mohamad. So a couple of questions. When's the Pacif-i going to be available?
We actually start taking orders already, and it will be available shipping out to customers in February.
And how much is it going to cost?
It is on sale. It is being sold right now for £25, $39.
Okay, interesting. So you mentioned the Tempo already. Have you seen any specific sort of scenarios that that's been used in? What what are your users actually doing with it?
So there are actually 3 typical use cases that we find for Tempo itself. So there is if we tie into actually back to the children again, and we see that from customers, air conditioning systems or heating systems don't really tell you the temperature and conditions within a specific room. They tell you what it is at particularly where the thermostat is. So parents will put a pacifier in a children's room, or it could be if they have, for instance, a pet that it's someone that they care for. They'll put the Tempo there, leave it on record. It continuously recording the data. It's actually configurable to record from all the way down to 5 minutes up to 24 hours. It just keeps taking recordings. And then they can look at that data afterwards and see, did the room heat up? Did it cool down more than they expected? And then make adjustments. They can adjust AC vents, change the heating settings, open curtains, etc. That's one use case. Another very specific use case that Tempo sort of find a home in, maybe because of its shape, is in exotic pets. The exotic pets, snakes, reptiles, have very, very specific conditions that they need in their enclosures with regards to humidity and temperature. Tempo provides an easy way to track that inside of an enclosure like that and monitor. There are some other uses, cigars, for instance, where you want to keep track of humidity. Essentially anywhere where you really want to get precise measurement of temperature and humidity together.
So it's more about those sort of specific scenarios rather than just having them dotted about a home, do you think?
Possibly. I mean, we do have customers that have several and we'll put them in different rooms. It can be used outdoors as well to take the outdoor temperature. So you can put it on your patio and it'll take the outdoor temperature. But generally those types of scenarios.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much, Mohamad.